Greetings, Commanders, and welcome back to the Deep Space Carrier series here in Elite Dangerous. In our last episode, we almost ran out of... I don't know. Was that the one we ran out of fuel? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I went in... Oh, that's what it was. We ended up grabbing a couple of biological samples, but unfortunately, when I came in here to Vista Genomics, we only got about 10 million credits out of that, which is one of the reasons why I don't typically stop for low-level fonticula and things like that, because the amount of time we spent going down the gravity well and grabbing 6 different samples and all that stuff. I know that for those of you who haven't been playing the game for a long time and you don't have a large bank account and all that stuff, I know that doesn't make any sense to you, but for someone like me, like I'm not, there's no way to say this without sounding like arrogant or looking down my nose at people. The point I'm trying to say is that as your number goes up, the number that entices you to stop to go do things also goes up, and like, I promise, I'm not trying to be arrogant or snobby or anything like that. I'm just saying, you get to a point where your time is the most valuable thing to you once you get to a point where you have enough money that you don't have to worry about it. There's really no way to say that. Sorry, I take it back, whatever. My point is that the amount of time I spent doing that was just not worth the 10 million credits I got out of... Oh, it's not copying anymore. Not worth the 10 million credits I got out of that. So I'm just saying. That's my supporting evidence for why I don't stop for that kind of stuff. Let's take a second and look at where we are. Is there? Oh, because it's why is it not? Did I minimize it? Okay. We started at the bubble over here, went down to the meridian here, visited the alluring siren here, and we're somewhere in the middle in between the alluring siren and these 3 western meridian waypoints that are going to take us out towards the furthest western part of the galaxy. Still continuing on our way there, so we got a little ways to go. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I've already scheduled our carrier launch because I was doing something else while... So, one of the things that irritates me about this game is just the ridiculous amount of time it takes to load the game. So sometimes I'll end up just like loading the game. So that way when I'm... That way when I'm ready to start doing my recording and stuff like that, I can just start doing the recording and not have to wait like 5 minutes for the game to load and log in and all that stuff, because I don't know what they've done to make the login process so tedious and like take forever, but it's really annoying. But yeah, that's what I have to say about all that. I can't believe we're already 2 minutes in the video. Oh, it's because I was sitting in the command chair. But yeah, that's the thing about the whole exobiology thing. I've been doing this for so long that I have some standard practices that I follow now, because I know what I'm gonna get for the time and effort I put into things, and that's why. And like, I get comments every once in a while. Like, I don't typically, every once in a while I'll turn off my comment filters just to kind of see what the pulse of the channel is, and you know, I'll see somebody who says, "Oh yeah, go ahead, don't bother scanning that one. I'll come behind you and grab the really cool thing that's going to be there." And it's like, well, yeah, but statistically, the cool thing that you think is going to be there is not. And the fact that you got super lucky and happened to find a couple of things in a row is like, I don't know, man. That's lucky for you. I've been through thousands and thousands and thousands of iterations of this, and I don't get that lucky, so good for you, I guess. I don't know what else to say about that, but yeah, 10 million credits for going down a gravity well and scanning 6 biological samples is just, at the stage of exploration that I am in, it's just not worth my time. It's not worth the time, it's not worth the tedium of having to do the whole carefully approach the planet and make sure you don't overspeed when you get to the glide, and then wait for the glide to happen, and then you gotta hunt around for 3 different biological signatures, and you gotta make sure they're far enough away from it. Like, it's just, the process is too tedious. It's tedious enough that if I'm going to spend my time doing it, I want to get paid for it. And 10 million credits for me is not enough of a paycheck to justify going down a gravity well. That's my personal opinion. That's my metric that I use for me. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying that for me, that's my metric. That's what I choose to do to play the game, to make it as fun for me as possible. Because, you know, that's why do we play video games? Why do we play video games? We don't play video games for any reason other than we just want to have fun. We want to do something cool. We want to do something interesting. We want to, you know, especially for like this game, for the most part, why do I play this game? I play this game because I want to feel like I'm out in space, like I'm in a futuristic setting, in a cool ship, flying around the universe, doing cool stuff. And, you know, I put up with the super tedious things that come with this game because they nailed the ambiance and experience of it so well that it's worth putting up with those things. Now, does that mean that I don't want them to change those tedious things into something a little bit more reasonable and fun? No, I still want them to change them. My love for the game, you know, doesn't blind me to the fact that, hey guys, you got to fix this crap because it's kind of unreasonable and stupid. You know, you don't have to be all or nothing in a game. It's you can love parts of a game and then have other parts of the game where you're just like, dude, this is freaking retarded. Why are you doing it this way? I don't understand. Like, there's so many people who just don't understand the nuance, like understand any kind of nuance at all. Like, you know, it's like the people you complain about something in a game, and then people are like, well, then you should go find something else to play. And it's like, well, no, I still want to play the game. I still enjoy the game. There's just these parts of it that are like, they're like sandpaper on my skin, and you know, when I'm in that part of the game, it's like sandpaper on my skin. But then I'm done using that part, and it's back to the cool stuff. And I don't want the sandpaper on my skin part. I just want the cool. I want all cool stuff. That's why I play a game. I'm not looking for whatever it is you think it should be. I want to have fun. The games are supposed to be fun. That's why we play. I don't understand the mentality that says that everything has to have something negative that comes with it. Like, no, we're playing video games here. The whole point of the video game is to escape reality and have fun. It can be challenging. I'm not saying it doesn't have to be challenging. Challenge can be fun. But tedious tasks just for the sake of some kind of weird perceived realism that wouldn't even be realistic in the future anyway, is just like, why? Why are we imposing these unfun things in our video game? That doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I think that's like, so if you're a person who like kind of agrees with the idea that you can like a game and still have issues with it, use the sandpaper argument. It's like, it's like, what is it like? What can we use with that sandpaper argument? We got the system scan complete. I'm still thinking about the thing, because like, what would you do where you would be doing something that's really cool? Oh yeah, it's like you're having a massage. Duh. I don't know why that wasn't the first thing that played. You're having a nice deep tissue massage, or you're having a nice deep tissue massage, whatever kind of massage it is that you like, that, you know, loosens you up and makes you feel better. And then in the middle of your massage, someone comes in with a big freaking thing of a sandpaper glove and starts scratching your back really hard, and you're just like, right? Like. Or maybe they don't do it hard, because like for this game, it's not like that. For this game, it's more like they come along with the sandpaper glove and they're just like scratching you. They're just like scratching you in various points in your body, and you're just like, I would really prefer it if you would not do that and stick to the part where it feels good. Like that's what I came here for. I came here to feel better. I didn't come here for you to scratch me with sandpaper. I don't want that. That is not what I want out of my experience here. Oh, I never did the thing. I want the good parts, and I came here to a video game for the good parts. I did not come here so that you could, you know, force me to sit through a bunch of tedious crap that makes me feel like you're rubbing sandpaper on me. You know what I mean? It's like, so that's the argument you make. I think that's a reasonable argument. Like, Elite Dangerous is like a really great massage, and then every once in a while they come in with some sandpaper and just like scratch the crap out of you, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't want it anymore. Can we just stop with the sandpaper part? But the massage itself is so good that you're willing to put up with those little periods of being scratched with the sandpaper because, you know, the rest of it's just so good. Something like that. I don't know. I'm sure there are other other analogies that you could come up with that are probably less family friendly. I'm sure we could all come up with some less family friendly versions of that particular analogy, but that's what it's like. It's like, this game is really, really great for the things that I like about it, and that's what keeps me coming back. But, you know, there are things that could be better. There are things that could be more streamlined. There are things that could make it so that I don't walk away from, so that when I walk away from my playtime in the game, I only have a positive perception of it, and I don't have the, oh, that was a slog. You know what I mean? Like, why? Why would you want that in your game? Why would you want people to walk away from the experience that you're trying to provide them with any kind of negative perception at all? And why would you listen to anybody who is trying to advocate for those things? Like, That doesn't make any sense. Don't make your game for people like that. If you're listening to people who are trying to get you to make your game more like work, you're listening to the wrong crowd. You are absolutely listening to the wrong crowd. The people over at Path of the Grinding Gear Games has that same problem. They're listening to all these workaholic kind of people who want their video game to reflect the kind of work life that they have. And it's like, who wants to... The whole purpose of a video game is to escape from all that crap. You know, you live this life and you have all this crap that you have to do. You don't want to spend your free time doing a digital version of the same crap you're doing in real life. Like, I don't want to grind through a bunch of crap. I want to play a game and have fun. That's why I like games like that. And I don't understand, like, what kind of person wants to have a digital analog of the real world? Like, ugh, why would you do that? Why would you create a digital analog that just basically takes the real world that you live in, that most of us hate, and just create a different fantasy version of that same thing? The whole point is to escape the world for a couple of hours and, like, you know, forget about all the crap that's going on in your life and just enjoy it. Why would you create a video game that way? I know I'm talking and babbling a lot more in this video than I typically would, but, like, I don't know. I fundamentally don't understand, and I disagree with the philosophy that games should have negatives to them. Like, why? Why? Life has enough negativity in it. We don't need to have it in our the diversions are supposed to get us away from the negativity. It's not supposed to add more. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to yourself? All you masochists out there, like, leave the video games alone. We want to have fun. We're playing video games to have fun. You go be masochistic somewhere else. Okay, our carrier jump is already complete. Sometimes I get into little tangents like that. Sorry. You know, I'm passionate about certain things. I've been playing video games my whole life. Like, I don't have a problem with difficulty. There is a difference between... Hold on, I want to check and see what the timing is on it. There's a difference. There's a massive difference between difficulty and tedium. There are many different ways to get people to earn something, right? And unfortunately, some people have the idea that because it takes a lot of time, or because it takes a lot of... They conflate the idea of time... How am I trying to get to this? I think it should take time to get things done, because the whole point of playing the video game is you're trying to divert your attention from the real world for an extended period of time. That's why you play a video game. Okay, so it's not the time aspect of things that bugs me. It's the idea that we have to be locked into these systems of tedium. Tedium is the worst thing that you could ever do to anybody. Nobody wants to have to sit there and just mindlessly do this activity that forces them to pay attention to this and only this, and I can't do anything else while I'm waiting on this thing to happen. Like, why? Like, make it so that if your metric for earning things is time, because anything that's a tedious task, I'm getting to a point. I'm trying to put it together in my head as to how I say it. And those of you who know the point I'm trying to make are already there. And those of you who don't, I'll get there. The problem with going with like a workload versus a difficult thing is that the tedious things that you have to come up with to justify the time you're spending doing things is always going to be like mindless busy work. That doesn't really matter. There's no meaningful contribution from it. It's just an arbitrary thing that you've been required to do so that, you know, you actually put enough time into things to earn it. To be perfectly honest with you, the system from EVE Online where you just set a skill and it just trains in the background until it's done is the perfect way. It's the perfect way to set things up so that you still have to earn the skill points that you're getting. You're still having to do a time investment of some kind, whether it's just, you know, even if you're not online, your character is locked into training this skill and they can't advance in anything else. There is a time commitment and that's it. That's the way to do things if you're going to have a thing where you say, well, we want to make sure you're putting enough time into this thing so that you earn whatever it is that you're doing. I have no problem with that. That is a reasonable pathway to getting people to earn whatever it is that you want them to earn. And I understand. I think you should have to earn things in a video game. Otherwise, it's not satisfying. If everything's just given to you, it's just not satisfying. But there's a difference between, you know, putting a time requirement on it and then also adding a mindless, bullshit, tedious task that nobody wants to do, but you're going to say, well, no, but you still have to put the effort in. And it's like, but effort is only meaningful if the effort actually has meaning. And if it's just something you just arbitrarily decided that we need to do because you say so, then now that's when we start having a problem. I have no problem. Like, if you want to make the full spectrum system scanner, this thing we're doing right here, this ridiculous binocular, super advanced binocular thing that we're doing right now, if you want to put this on a progress bar that requires 30 seconds to get done, I'd much rather do that. I'd much rather just set it on a thing and then wait 30 seconds and then move on to the next system. Like, that's fine. What I have a problem with is that during that 30 seconds while I'm waiting on this to do the scan, I could be on a browser doing some research on something, or watching a video, and actually paying attention to the video instead of focusing on this thing that I'm doing. I could be watching the video, right? Like, not while I'm doing the stream, not while I'm doing the video, but I could be watching a video while I'm sitting and waiting on the progress bar to fill up, as the computer, the super smart advanced computer that we have, does all the scanning and stuff and then gets back to me with the information that's available. That's the part. Like, it's not just an arbitrary, well, I don't want to have to do this, so no, it doesn't make sense. What we're doing, this thing that we're doing right now, the act of doing it myself provides no more value, and it provides no more engagement. And all it ever does is just irritate me that I have to put up with this stupid system that they came up with, right? There's no benefit to me as a player to be forced to do this, because I don't feel like I earned it any more than if I just had to wait for 30 seconds for it to go. Did we just get a 30 some odd system? I don't remember. I don't feel any more sense of accomplishment having scanned that system than if I just pressed a button, waited the 30 seconds to a minute, or, you know, have it based off of how many bodies are in the system. And for every body that's in the system, it takes a second, whatever, something, right? It's the time component that is the investment. The mindless busy work you're forcing us to do in addition to the time we're having to sink into it is just an irritating. It's the irritating sandpaper. That's all it is. There is no benefit to forcing us to mindlessly do this task like, it's not like the task is a challenge. There's no challenge to the full spectrum system scanner. It's just a mindless robotic task that should be done by the computer. And there's no justification for requiring players to do it. I'm sorry, there just isn't. And that's my problem. I don't mind having to earn the things that I get, but the things you ask me to do to earn those things should be reasonable and preferably fun things. So, I don't know how you would make the full spectrum system scanner challenging. Like, that's not really something that you could make challenging, so it should just be automated. It should just be an automated process. Have it take a certain amount of time, sure, that's fine. There should be an investment of some kind to get back the thing that you're getting out of it. But it shouldn't be something that requires me to actively participate in the process. Make me take the time to sit there and wait for the scan, and then let me move on. Don't force me to sit there and do this stupid, because that's all this is. This is just, you know, super way into the future version of binoculars, and that's dumb. That's dumb. It's just dumb. So for those of you who watch my channel on a regular basis, you're getting tired of me complaining about this. It's not going away. I really have a problem with this whole thing. 4 biological signatures. We'll go scan it, but we're probably not going to go down the gravity well because, like I said, the stuff that we would go down there for, it's going to be the same kind of stuff, the same kind of payout that I got from going down that icy body. So unless it has something super interesting to look at, or something that I know has a really high value to it, we're not wasting our time going down there, even for a 4-body rocky body, because the rocky bodies don't typically have anything super interesting or even expensive on them. It's usually just bacteria, 1 or 2 of the grass species, maybe some osseous, and, you know, some of the osseous species can be interesting, but I'm not going to know what osseous species it is until again, this is going to be a rocky body with bacteria and a couple of forms of grass, probably. It might have something cool. I'm not saying it can't have something cool. It's just the odds are that it's probably not, and I just don't want to go down there for that. And then it's just a gas giant. So I don't think I actually targeted that 4-body system. So was it this one? Yes. So let's go ahead and target that. We'll run over, scan it real quick, and then find out what's on it. Actually, we probably need to schedule our next carrier jump because I lost track of time, and I'm sure that the cooldown is done now. So let's go ahead and do that since I spaced out and forgot about that. Probably had a couple minutes worth of time there that we could have been getting something done, but that's fine. That's fine. Almost never are we going to be meeting the carrier at the end of an actual episode because it takes, it takes 20 minutes to get a jump done, or not necessarily. It takes 20 minutes to get the first jump done because you have to wait on the cooldown, and then the second jump generally takes, between 14 and 15 minutes to actually go. And we're like, especially now that we're 20 minutes into the video, we're definitely going to be done with that before that. We're going to be done with the video before that. But anyways, what am I doing? I spaced out for a second and throttled forward instead of leaving it where it was. So let's see if we can fix it. I gotta turn away. See, this is the additional stuff I'm talking about. Why do I have to be punished for something like that? I tap the throttle forward, and if I pull the throttle all the way back, then the computer with the frame shift, the computer controlling the frame shift drive should understand that I made a mistake and I'm trying to fix it. So how about we just slow me down instead of, like, why do I have to turn away before the computer can realize, oh, we're trying to slow down, so let's slow down. Like, 0 throttle should just slow you down. I shouldn't have to turn away to fix it. I mean, like, we have this the frame shift gravity drive that should be able to instantly respond to my commands, but for whatever reason it just doesn't. Because the developers decided that there had to be a punishment for not paying attention. It's like, I have the computer there to freaking to compensate for my mistakes. Alioida is a Alioida. It looks like the stuff they make tequila out of. I can never remember the damn name of it. And you're going to say it in the comments, and the more I think about it, it's like a bar of soap. Bacteria, stratum, and tussock. The stratum's just going to be the poopy stratum. I'm not really interested in going down there for that. The Alioida looks like the stuff they make tequila out of, which is not super interesting, and I don't believe it's worth very much money. So we're just going to head out. I know. I've mentioned it before, and somebody did leave a comment reminding me of what it is, but the issue doesn't come up enough for me to ever remember what the hell it's called. So it's like, it won't come to me. It just won't come to me. It's called agave. They're called agave. That's what it's called. Alioida looks very much, typically the types of Alioida that I usually find, it looks like agave. That's what, if you want an idea of what that looks like, it reminds me of agave. Okay, we got 9 bodies in this system. Go ahead and get a scan done here. I know there's a lot of people out there who just don't want to hear complaints at all. Like, you watch a video and, if a content creator is somebody who, like, complains about things, you're instantly turned off, and that's fine. But, I'm not going to... If I have an issue with something and I get on a tangent about it, well, let me get on a tangent about it. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not holding a gun to your head and forcing you to watch my channel. I do my best to try to minimize how much I do that, but I'm the kind of person who complains about things when things are fucked up, when I think they're screwed up, and that's who I am as a person, and that turns a lot of people off. I don't care. I've never really cared very much about what people think of me. I want you to be entertained with the content that I'm putting out, so hopefully, that's why I generally try to be honest and genuine about me and who I am and those things. So that way, a year down the road, if you subscribe to my channel, I want a year from now, you're seeing the same person that you saw a year ago because I'm just being me. You're not getting a super positive version of me that pretends that everything is great and fun. Like, when I'm in a good mood and everything's great, I'm in a relatively good mood. But, I have a very low tolerance for bullshit, and I don't understand the philosophy of people who try to add bullshit into things that don't need to have it. Like, there's enough of that in the real world that you can't avoid. Let's not add it to the things that we can. Let's not add it to the things where we can avoid it. Anywhere where we can avoid the BS, let's do it. Let's avoid the BS. Let's not artificially add it. Let's avoid it. That's the way to go. You know what I'm saying? So there's so many things in life that we all just kind of put up with because you have to. There's no alternative to just putting up with it. But in the places where you don't have to put up with it, don't make it so we have to put up with it. That's insanity. It's insanity to ask people to put up with things that don't need to be any more annoying than they have to be because you've decided that there's some kind of value in it. Like, no. There's no value in arbitrary anything. Anything that has an arbitrary, anything that has the adjective arbitrary attached to it, there's no value in that. It's just something that you've decided yourself has value, and everyone else is just like, why do I have to put up with this? You need to get off your horse, capitulate, make it so that people don't have to deal with it anymore, and give people a good quality. That's all we're asking for. Good quality and a fun experience. We want fun, not work. Fun. We need 6 probes for this guy, but we don't have to wait for it. We can go ahead and target the next system en route, start charging the frameshift drive, and then by the time we are ready to jump out, the probes will have finished their job. We have 2 more jumps to do. I'm going to end up having to wait for the carrier myself, as always, because I waited too long to schedule the jump, but that's okay. It's the same as it happens every time. There's only 3 bodies in this system, so we'll go ahead and immediately start our frameshift charging. And we got the next jump is our last jump, so we'll have one last chance to find something cool, and then that's it. But yeah, I understand. I have the awareness and intelligence and ability to understand things that I know that listening to someone complain about anything, especially if it's not an issue for you, listening to somebody to complain about something is just typically annoying. I don't like having to listen to people complain to me about things I don't care about. I get it, but I care about this issue, and there are other people who care about issues like this, and they want the game to be less tedious and more fun. And I'm talking to those people and not you. And if you don't want to listen to complaints, that's fine. I don't begrudge you not wanting to listen to complaints, but you came here to this channel, and sometimes I complain because I care about the game. That's the thing. Like, people don't understand. They think that because you're complaining that like, the reason you complain about things is because you care. You complain because you care, because it's affecting you in some way. You may not care about the specific issue itself. What is that? Is that a high metal content point? Is that a high metal content? Oh, I think we just made 90 million credits. We're gonna push this episode out a little bit longer then. I'm not even gonna. Anything else we find here, I'm not gonna be that interested in. So let's just go down the gravity well. Okay, we are approaching our target here. This one also requires 6 probes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 more to get the scan done. Odds are 99.9% that this is going to be bacteria and stratum. And if it is, it's going to be stratum tectonicus, and we're almost certainly going to get first footfall, which means 90 million credits. So we just paid our carrier. Bill. See? It's like anytime somebody comes at me with some kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? With some too fast. Anytime somebody comes at me with, what's the word for something that happened that's outside. I'm not looking for statistical anomaly. There's a word for something that happens, and I just can't think of it. A word for something that somebody experienced, where somebody's using their experience versus data. I can't think of the word. You can come at me with your experience that you had that said, oh, well, I go to this and I found this and this and this, and I found, like, okay, that's great for you. I've done thousands and thousands and thousands of these, and my experience has been that when I see this set of conditions, I find this, and that's why I don't go to things, because I don't want to waste my time on something that I know that has a high statistical probability that it's going to be a big nothing burger. I'm just not interested in it. So. It's anecdotal. Your anecdotal experience that you happen to have this particular experience. And it's like, okay, well, but I've done many iterations of this thing, and that my experience over that vast body of knowledge has been that, this is the way it is. And so, yeah. All right, there is our stratum tectonicus. We're gonna land and grab ourselves a sample. Maybe we'll be able to end the episode on the carrier today. Okay, we got our first footfall, and that is Stratum Tectonicus Lime. Let me grab the other 2 samples, and then we'll see if the carrier's here by then. Yeah, I did a lot of extra talking during this episode, which is why it ended up being really long, and I would imagine that because I was talking about things that's going to annoy some people, that a fair number of them dropped off before we finished. I'm actually going to turn around this way, turn off the landing gear, and head back towards the light-colored section here, because I don't want to miss out on the stratum. The highlighted portion of it was actually pretty striated, whatever the word is.
Shields offline.
that didn't go very well. A little bit impatient, and I thought that boosting around would the boost effect of it would slow down a little bit more effectively than it did, but it didn't. I don't even know now. I don't even know what direction I was and how far I was away from the stuff. So that sucks. I was trying to say this episode is going to be a little bit longer, and I'm sure that most people didn't even make it to the part, or a fair enough. Statistically speaking, virtually nobody makes it to the end of these episodes. So, you know, the odds that oh, what's going on here? That was weird. That was super weird. I was trying to like do my flip over maneuver, and it just would not rotate at all. But that's okay. I'm gonna get over here and find one more set of stratum. I think I just passed over one, but I had already passed over it by the time I recognized it, because the rendering is just really slow today. Alright, here we go. This will work. Typically, you can like boost, and then you flip around, and you'll end up, the boost will end before you start heading in a majorly different direction if you time it right. And I thought I had timed it right, but somehow I ended up changing my vector to be more down than sideways, and wasn't able to recover it. I mean, I could have just boosted again, and that would have fixed it, but I didn't realize until it was too late that that had been the case. So, yeah. Anyways, that's going to go ahead and do it for today's episode, unless the fleet carrier message comes in before I get out of here. But thank you very much for watching. Be sure to click the like button and subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with that thanks button. I also have PayPal and Patreon links in the description for those of you who prefer to go that route, because some of you like to go outside of YouTube to support the channel. So again, thanks for watching. Be sure to come back for tomorrow's episode, and I'll see you then.